Do you know that 75% of the world's tornadoes are from the U.S.? That's why the U.S. is called the tornado capital of the world. Tornadoes are a combination of atmospheric instability and wind shear, which occur when warm, moist air is wedged under drier, cooler air aloft. This warm air rises, causing the intense updrafts and downdrafts seen as strong thunderstorms. So to make a tornado, the right mix of ingredients is warm, humid air near the ground, cold air higher up in the atmosphere, and the wind that overlaps while moving at different speeds or directions. Believe it or not, few places on Earth check all of these boxes, and the U.S. is one of them. Since the U.S. isn't the only country that has the key ingredients and topography to create these life-threatening twisters, other countries can also endure tornadoes. Italy, France, Spain, India, and Brazil are among the countries that get tornadoes, typically on a yearly basis. Argentina, Uruguay, Australia, Japan, China, Russia, Ukraine, Poland, and Germany can be added to the list of countries that have reported tornadoes. Other recent research suggests that there's increasing evidence linking global warming to changes in the severe weather that gives rise to tornadoes. A 2018 research found a clear upward trend in tornado power of 5.5% per year over the past few decades. Now, without further ado, let's talk about the deadliest tornadoes that happened in recent years. Deadly Manitoba Tornado, 2018. The tornado that hit the rural municipality of Alonsa, Manitoba, and Margaret Bruce Provincial Park on August 3, 2018, was the strongest event recorded in Canada since the Elie, Manitoba F5 tornado of 2007, and the first to cause a fatality since the Godric, Ontario F3 tornado of 2011. It is the first tornado in Canada to be rated at least EF4 under the new enhanced Fujita scale. The tornado's damage path was approximately 12 kilometers long and 800 meters wide at the location of the worst damage. The majority of the affected areas were covered in poplar forests and prairie grasslands, while some agricultural fields and 5 private homesteads were also damaged, including 2 residential structures with varying levels of hold-down capacity removed from their foundations, and another suffering major wall collapse. The EF4 rating of this event is a preliminary rating pending a full engineering analysis of the damaged structures. The overall investigation makes use of ground survey observations, high-resolution satellite imagery, contracted aerial photography, and a review of social media and other public reports for assessment of the Alonsa event. Preliminary findings from the engineering analysis of damaged structures and vegetation will be presented. The Alonsa tornado path is both visible from satellite imagery and easily accessible for ground surveys, providing the opportunity for damage assessment and correlation of visible damage markers between ground-level observations, drone and aerial photography, and the available satellite imagery. Easter Tornado Outbreak 2020. A widespread and deadly tornado outbreak affected the southeastern United States on Easter Sunday and Monday, April 12 through 13, 2020. The extreme weather started brewing a few weeks before the outbreak. Throughout the southeast U.S., a high-pressure system contributed to already abnormally warm temperatures. During the end of March and the beginning of April, the calm weather associated with the high-pressure system started to quickly warm the Gulf of Mexico water. Throughout the outbreak, there were a total of 3 EF4 tornadoes. The water reached its highest temperature in modern recording keeping, over 2 degrees Celsius more than the 1971 to 2010 average. This increased moisture levels in the air, which with the environmental instability led to higher risks of tornado activity. Several tornadoes were responsible for prompting tornado emergencies, including the first one to be issued by the National Weather Service in Charleston, South Carolina. A large squall line formed and tracked through the mid-Atlantic on April 13th, prompting more tornado warnings and watches. A total of 15 watches were produced during the event, 2 of which were designated particularly dangerous situations. Throughout the 2-day outbreak, a total of 141 tornadoes touched down across 10 states, inflicting widespread and locally catastrophic damage. The strongest tornado was rated high-end EF4 and occurred in southern Mississippi, producing estimated winds of 190 miles per hour or 310 kilometers per hour, reaching a width of 2.25 miles or 3.62 kilometers and causing 8 deaths. With a total of 32 tornado-related fatalities, it was the deadliest tornado outbreak since April 27th through 30th, 2014. To assist with recovery efforts, governors of 5 states declared a state of emergency. Relief efforts were complicated by social distancing requirements amid the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. For weeks throughout March and into April, an expansive area of high pressure built across the southeast United States, contributing to abnormally warm temperatures across much of the country. The United States as a whole experienced its 17th warmest March, continuing the pattern that persisted throughout winter. In particular, many locations along the U.S. and Mexican Gulf coasts saw record warmest temperatures for the month. Calm weather associated with the high-pressure area induced rapid warming of the Gulf of Mexico waters to their highest values on the modern record, greater than 2 degrees Celsius, 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit, above the 1971 to 2010 average, as well as a moistening of the air near the surface. Increased instability associated with anomalously warm and moist air from the Gulf of Mexico has been associated with an increased risk of severe weather and tornado activity. Damage from this tornado was extensive and highly destructive to many homes, vehicles, and businesses across more than a dozen southeast and eastern states. The outbreak was estimated to be a $3.8 billion loss and caused 35 fatalities. There was a lot of damage to the timber industry here. The storms and power outages also created a demand for food, rushes for supplies, and crowds that filled grocery stores. In Kentucky, car lines of people trying to buy gas to power electricity generators stretched down the highway, and lines formed to get into hardware stores. The pandemic also complicates the process of getting utilities and other infrastructure up and running again, and the community came together to clean up debris, sorting through the intimate fragments of people's lives and livelihoods. To recover from the damage, the community had to be in survival mode for the next 4 to 6 months. Mayfield Tornado Outbreak, 2021. During the late evening of Friday, December 10th, 2021, a violent, long-track tornado moved across western Kentucky, producing severe to catastrophic damage in numerous towns, including Mayfield, Princeton, Dawson Springs, and Bremen. Crossing through 11 counties of the Jackson Purchase and western coalfield regions during its lifespan, the tornado was exceptionally long-tracked, traveling 165.6 miles while at times becoming wrapped in rain. It was an EF4 tornado characterized by wind speeds between 116 and 200 miles per hour, which is the second most intense on the enhanced Fujita scale. The strength, path, and duration of the event were also surprising. It was the deadliest and longest track tornado in an outbreak that produced numerous strong tornadoes in several states. 57 fatalities were confirmed in the tornado. During this outbreak, 2 major supercell thunderstorms produced multiple tornadoes for more than 100 miles each. The second significant tornado in an exceedingly long-tracked tornado family. This tornado began just inside northern Obion County, Tennessee, a few miles after another long-tracked EF4 tornado, which traveled through northeast Arkansas, the Missouri Boot Heel, and northwest Tennessee, and dissipated in western Obion County, producing 66 tornadoes over 2 days. The 2021 Mayfield tornado outbreak reminds us that the dangers of tornadoes can be year-round. Occurring from December 10th and 11th, this late-season outbreak killed 56 people and injured more than 500. As it hit that night, quite a bit of infrastructure was affected. One meteorologist called that tornado the Beast. 5 members of the Verizon Crisis Response Team from around the country were deployed to Kentucky. Because the storm struck at night, they had to wait until daylight. Because of concerns about contacting downed power lines in the dark, the next day they needed everything they could muster because there was a massive search and rescue effort underway. As Mayfield is such a small community with a population of less than 10,000, emergency teams from all over Kentucky and other states were deployed to assist. However, it is remarkable how quickly they recovered afterward. Louisiana Twister, 2022. On the night of March 22, residents of Arabi, Louisiana once found themselves picking up the pieces in the wake of a natural disaster following a tornado that rampaged through the New Orleans metropolitan area. The powerful tornado splintered Louisiana's people's homes in mere seconds as it carved a swath of destruction through the neighborhood. In a city generally without basements, residents were forced to look elsewhere for shelter when the dark, ominous clouds were spotted in the area. Residents shared to AccuWeather's national reporter Kim Loeffler how grateful they were to have made it out alive. The Weather Service said the tornado had an estimated peak wind of 160 miles per hour, ranking it a strong EF3 on the enhanced Fujita scale. It cut a track 11.5 miles long and had a maximum width of 320 yards. Dozens of homes and buildings were destroyed in the blink of an eye as the large tornado tore approximately an 11.5-mile path from around Gretna in Jefferson Parish to Arabi in St. Bernard Parish and then to New Orleans east under the cover of darkness. According to the National Weather Service, the EF3 tornado was on the ground for 17 minutes. The worst of the damage was confined to Arabi, which is a suburb of New Orleans. The twister left one man dead in Arabi and at least 8 others were injured. Edwards declared a state of emergency following the destruction across St. Bernard, Orleans, Jefferson, and St. Tammany parishes. As neighbors helped one another with cleanup efforts on the next day, the community was filled with love and support. That's it for today's video. Which event did you find most interesting? Let us know in the comments section below. See you next time. Till then, goodbye and thanks for watching. See you in the next video.